we don't do well as much. Like, we don't thrive in that back and forth ping pong where it's just a bunch of ego challenges and hard challenges, not a lot of control. I feel like that's where we actually kind of suffer as a player. It's that craziness. Like, your comfort zone is give me open space to control the ball. But like when it's kind of crazy, chaotic, that's where we have a harder time. All right, so we're going to look at Grand Champ 2 ones. That's just start a game, Eon. Start a game. I'm not really worried about that. Work with a college based in Chicago called St. Xavier University. Part-time, only a couple hours each week. Not full-time. I feel like we're rushing a bit. I like that we're taking a kind of a dribble right there. Like we slowed that down. That made my only observation to start this. I just feel like it's not really speed, as in like I don't want you to play slower. We're just kind of rushing our control plays. I think it's due to a loss of awareness because this teammate is kind of or not teammate, this opponent is kind of like a bully. They're pushing for demos. They're drive challenging a lot. Like they're faking a lot. Like they're very, very aggro. This is good. And yeah, this is good. That's your play, right? Again, I don't want you to change speed. I'm just observing right now. Because like if you watch professional level ones, top 100 ones, whatever it may be, show matches, like they play super fast. But it's kind of like to be able to throttle the speed. That's good. Yeah, that's what I mean by this guy's a bully. He just like shadows super close. And we're not punishing him for being a bully either. We're having a tough time with this player. So I think that's the problem I'm trying to solve. Why are we having a tough time with this player? That's kind of the macro. What could make this easier? That's good. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this, Ian. It's picking up, like, for sure. I still feel like, dude, because we've looked at your gameplay before and I have a pretty good memory. I still feel like you're so reliant on air dribble, aerial control mechanics to score. You have one weapon and it's really, really sharp. And it's good. Okay? And I wouldn't like not use it, right? It's your best weapon. But I feel like we're so reliant on open space aerial control to create offense. Like we don't have, demo boost control plays, or we don't have like ping pong back and forth pacing to force a mistake. We don't have that, defensive counterattack. Where my brain's at is looking at Playstyle, what makes the most sense, or does it need to be a culmination of everything because that's how Rocket League is played now? Like you literally need to play perfect. And it's not really counters either, because I'm not a big fan of a heavy counterattack playstyle because counterattacks are passive. I'm not a fan of passive this game. That's personal preference. The initial problem was, why are we having a tough time against this opponent? But then I'm like, I think we're too reliant on open space control, aerial control, and that's why we're having a tough time, because this opponent is a bully, and it's harder to get open space against a player like this because they shadow close, they drive challenge, they demo, they steal your boost, right? So it's kind of like an individual improvement problem where we're too reliant on that, but also like we kind of ran into a little bit of a counter play style with this opponent. Okay, so like you're a control player. I feel like what makes the most sense is building out more counterattacks. But for like long-term improvement, I don't really like that, to be honest. Like it's good to be able to do counterattacks, but like I swear like the simple thing we need is like boom the ball down the field, make the player save it, take a shot, make them save it, steal boost, cut, upside wall, steal boost, cut, upside wall, demo from behind. Just more of a offensive pressure, dude. It's, I mean, not that there's like pressure in ones, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you play a lot of ones, when you run into those players who like take a shot and then by the time you save it and go to control, they already stole your boost and they're already cutting you. It's more of that, because I do think that's a more aggressive way to get open space for control. It's still focus your counterattacks. I don't think that works well against this opponent, and I also don't like that, but that's another way to diversify. I think the biggest thing for you is getting... I think we're just way too reliant on creating offense from one play. I mean, it could, like, another way that people score a lot is kickoff goals. And I feel like we don't do well as much, like we don't thrive in that back and forth ping pong where it's just a bunch of ego challenges and hard challenges, not a lot of control. I feel like that's where we actually kind of suffer as a player. It's that craziness. Like, your comfort zone is give me open space to control the ball. But like when it's kind of crazy, chaotic, that's where we have a harder time. And I would almost like to see you take a boom and chase approach to ones and see what it feels like. And I still think you're going to get your control, but try to get into that ping pong. I think our comfort zone is just over controlling. And that's probably where we run into a wall where players are just egoing. Like, we should be dead right there because we're trying to control that ball right there. That was good. I think the counterattacks are easy. As in, like, you could think about that. You could try to get more counterattacks, but I don't think, like, you need to, like, break through some barrier to get a counterattack play style. I think that's very easy for your current play style. I think the bigger route, and I would like to see 2s or 3s to see how you play with pacing. It's getting outpaced and outbullied. As you can see, like, I think you're fine with defense. I think you're fine with counterattacks. I think you're fine with open space. It's can we play in chaos? That's the bigger thing. And I would try to focus more of a boom and chase. I would submit 2s or 3s next week to kind of see if that's actually the problem. Up to you. It doesn't matter. You could also submit 1s if you want to grind 1s. Do you know what I mean by boom and chase, chaos, etc.? Like, that's kind of like what this sequence is. Like, you know, demo, like pushing for demo, 50, go, boost, miss the boost, aggressive, out, bam, bam, challenge. Like, this is the ping pong, right? Like, there's no dedicated offense, no dedicated control from both parties. Both of you are just like fighting for boost, waiting for someone to peel off the play to do the thing. And I just think we need to create that situation more, but I think it's a comfort zone thing. Like, that's... You might have like an association with that, with overcommits, as to why we don't do it as much. It's like, just challenge more, boom more. You could look for your demos, look for your boost control, but obviously, like, boom and chase in 1s is not the same thing as like boom and chase in 3s. It's like, I want to see you get into a back and forth with the player and win that back and forth and not overcommit, get scored on. The other thing, which is interesting, we don't have a bad kickoff, but I feel like we don't score too many kickoff goals or get opportunity off a kickoff. Like, That's a little mini focus you could do. It's like, I don't think your kickoff's bad, but trying to set up threatening offense after kickoff. That's why I don't. That's like the over controlling. I'm telling you, like this player is kind of like your counter. So that ping pong, that challenge, that boom and chase, whatever you want to call it, and also, man, again, you play, you know these players. You probably played these players before. They take a shot, you save it, you go to control, they steal your boost, and they cut. You're trying to wear down the opponents. That's kind of the thought process with it. It's not making one opportunity super good. You're just constantly chipping away at the opponent's mental until they finally crack, make a mistake, you get an easy goal. Or you get wide open space to be mechanical. That's where I'd leave this. 2s or 3s next week, or 1s, up to you. I think, yeah, it's not necessarily like diversifying, but I feel like you're a little constrained with the way you play. It's not because the way you play is bad. You have a favorite. You have a favorite set of plays, a favorite set of play styles, but again, like GC2, Grand Champ 3, SSL, like the ranks you're in, to get to that next level, it's like now you're going to start seeing more developed play styles that directly counter what you do, and you need to be able to make those adjustments instead of like, you know, square peg round hole it, where, you know, you're just bashing your head into the wall. Why aren't my plays working? Well, it's not because you're bad. It's because the opponents, the way they play, it's just kind of that direct counter. And typically, like when you run in, not that Calf Master, he's been in our stream before, but not that he's some crazy player, but like bully style players like a Rettles or an Arsenal, like these bullies, or a Calm, they want you to control. That's what they want, because that feeds into their play style. It's exciting. I mean, I wouldn't get obsessed with like counter play style. It is a part of higher level play, but it just trying to explain the importance of like being able to do everything. Super important. Not just every mechanic, but like kind of really change the. So like I'm talking like changing play style, but like you're gonna change play style kind of specifically through decision making. That's kind of you're just making different decisions, right? Like, so your decision is just control. Yeah, like rotations, positioning kind of ties into that, but it's mostly like decision-making game sense that you're shifting. But overall, good stuff. I mean, it's a good base, and I definitely take advantage of the free month. I think you will be. I think you're super talented.